work. Yeah. What's good, Dub? What is good, y'all? Oh, it is a Bears victory Monday, ladies and gentlemen, as the Chicago Bears took down the Tennessee Titans in the second biggest home comeback in Chicago Bears history. We got to talk about why the Chicago Bears team is looking dangerous. Also, we got to break down the Caleb Williams debut. Underwhelming. Underwhelming is the word that comes to mind. It's the only thing that you can say about what we saw in that first game. And then we got to talk about Ryan Poles. There's not much to criticize with what this GM has done. But there's one massive blind spot that he has. And it is absolutely a problem. The date is 9/9/2024. Bears football is back. And I almost had a nervous breakdown watching that game. Let's go. I didn't time that one as well. I got to work on that. I didn't time that one as well. It helps if I have the headphones on. I didn't have the headphones on. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As once said by the great Chris Tucker and Sue Young.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
You heard what Sue Young said. Push the goddamn button, man. Stop playing with us. What a beautiful morning it is when the Chicago Bears win. Am I right? And yesterday was an interesting game. It was a game that gave you all the twists and turns. The downs were very much down. But you saw this Bears team do something yesterday that we didn't see this Chicago Bears team do all last season. And that, to me, is why this team can be dangerous. That, to me, is why this team can go out there and do more than, of course, what we saw in week one. And for sure, offensively, we got to have that conversation as well. But here's where I want to start it off at. Of course, the defense is the main topic of conversation today, outside of the struggles from Caleb Williams and the people who seem to want to not say he didn't have a bad game. He had a bad game. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It happens. I don't know if you noticed, he's a rookie quarterback. That was his first ever NFL game. It's okay, but we'll get to that. But the conversation is about this defense right now. Come away with a 4-turnover day. Jalen Johnson gets an interception. Tyreek Stevenson gets a pick 6. You had a blocked punt from Darrell Taylor on the special teams side, who looks like a phenomenal addition to this team. Blocked punt from Darrell Taylor that is returned into the end zone by Jonathan Owens. And then a forced fumble in there. I said Darrell Taylor. A forced fumble by Darrell Taylor. A blocked punt by Daniel Hardy. Defense rules the day, but that is not why I think that yesterday showed us something special about this Chicago Bears team. Do you guys remember just a short one season ago, when the Chicago Bears would be leading massively in games, or at least by enough where you would say they should close the game out? And you would just go, we just need that side of the ball to pick us up, whether offensive or defensively. We just need that side of the ball to pick us up when things get tough. We just need that side of the ball to help us out real quick when things get tough. How often last season did the other side of the ball help out the side that was struggling? And I know we can say, well, the defense played really well last year. Yeah, except there were so many of those moments where it didn't. I think about the Denver game. I think about the Detroit game. I think about the Cleveland game. Now, the Cleveland game was a wild game in general, but I think about all of these games where you were in a position to close the game out and come away on the winning side of it, and you couldn't find a way to do it. Think about the Green Bay game. Phenomenal day from the defense. All you got to do is score more than 17. Can't move the football in the slightest. Can't get the football down the field in the slightest. Yesterday, we saw a side of the ball on the offensive side that was horrid. And I would say this. I would think most of us would not expect that to be the case for the entire season. You saw an offense that gained less than 150 yards of total offense. I doubt we're going to see that week in and week out here with the Chicago Bears, especially with all of these weapons that are here. You're going to find your way into some solid yardage games here, right? But you saw a side of the ball that couldn't figure out where it was coming or going to. And you saw a defense go out there and not only pick them up. Right. Those it's always good when you pull up ESPN and it's just like, oh, let's just play an ad for you real quick. You saw a side of the ball go, don't worry about it. We got your back. You even heard it when Jalen Johnson comes up after Caleb Williams was doing his interview yesterday. He says, we got your back, 18. Don't worry about it. We got you this week. And Kevin Byard in the locker room after. He's sitting there talking. He's going, listen, offense, y'all going to have to win some games for us eventually. You're going to have to. Today we picked y'all up. Soon y'all will pick us up. That's something we didn't have last season. We didn't have offense making up for defensive deficiencies. We didn't have defense picking up where the offense was lacking. We had one side of the ball that was definitely better than the other side of the ball, where the defense was definitely better than the offensive side of the ball. But what makes a team dangerous, what makes a team somebody you got to watch out for on a consistent basis, is when you're closing out games when the other side of the ball can literally go in there and say, don't you worry about it. We got you. You know what Bears teams used to do that? And I talked with Jason McKee about this on the post-game show yesterday as well. You know what Bears teams used to do that? The last teams that it felt like were player-led. And that's that 05-06 team. The teams that the players are taking the lead in, those are the teams that thrive in this way. And that's what this team right here feels like after week one. That's what this Bears team right now feels like after week one. Shout out to Strasburg Steve for the super chat. Said, I'm massively concerned more about Shane Waldron than I am with Caleb Williams. He did this nonsense play calling in Seattle too. No tight end involvement. Well, you also got to look at the fact that we didn't have the ball very much. We weren't doing a ton of football here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree. I was not a fan of some of the play calls. But I also think that you have to sit there and be honest, where you can't just say, go out there and throw the football down the field. This is a rookie QB, as Mr. Media himself finally awake, ladies and gentlemen, joining the show here.
Oh boy.
In the building. What's good?
I couldn't miss this. Sorry guys, I'm a little late. Couldn't miss this.
I had to stop for ice cream. Had to stop for a little bit of ice cream.
What's going on, Breeze?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Just sitting here. I mean, listen, we're talking about why this team looks dangerous, even with the struggles. Even with the struggles, I
I
think that
agree.
we've got a football team that, when you have a team that can pick up one side of the ball's deficiencies, like they did completely yesterday defensively, to me that speaks to having a very, very dangerous team. Now, you can't do that week in and week out. You play this way next week versus the
Yeah,
Houston Texans, and we're gonna get beat 41-10.
it's not going to go well.
It's not gonna go well. But to me, I think that, and you know, I saw people again upset about the play calling, upset about how things were going offensively. You had a quarterback who was having a bad day. You don't want to make it a worse day by telling him go out there and just let that thing fly and throw an interception. You had a quarterback that was having a bad day. I think the play calling plays into it. I think defensively, coaching wise, you know, what we saw from Flus was impressive. I think what we saw from Waldron was trying to navigate a quarterback having a bad day. What were your thoughts on yesterday, JC?
I love the fact that two of the three phases of the team were working. You know, special teams and defense clearly showed up, and especially in the second half. So clearly there were some adjustments that were made. I love the resilience from the team. You know, you go into the locker room down 17-3, and you know everything's just kind of falling apart. It doesn't seem like the way you want it to look. You know, we were afraid it would be a repeat of last year when everybody was hyped and jacked up for the start of the season, saying, "Oh, this is going to be something special," and then they just dropped an egg on us, and so it felt that way. You know, we were hyped. We were excited to see what Kent Williams was going to do, and nothing seemed to be working.
Yeah.
And love the accountability from him. First of all, I love the fact that he got up there and said, "Hey, there are a few things that I need to work on. There are things that were mishaps in the passing game. The pass to DeAndre Swift was off point. The pass to Keenan Allen down the field, down the sideline. I believe one of his first passes wide open was off point. So he took accountability for that. I love the fact that he did that. But at the same time, you saw that he wasn't dejected. He loved the fact that they got a win, which is what he said matters the most, right? And the defense carried the day for the day. And hopefully the offense can do the same one day for the defense as well.
Yeah, and listen, hopefully soon. It's not hopefully one day. Like, hey, next week
Next
you
week,
play like
yeah,
that again. I'm telling you, you play like that against the Houston Texans.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you don't have a bad day.
It's going to be bad. Yeah,
We're gonna have a bad day. I don't want to have a bad day. I want to keep having good days.
yeah,
Listen, it was ugly to start, but I'm having good days.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, here we go. Appreciate y'all tuning in, show love, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. I missed this. Gotta bring this point to the
Oh,
forefront
what do we
because
got?
not only just over 100 in the chat,
Hey.
also over 200 in the chat.
Oh.
Oh, hit him with the double. Hit him with the double bubble. All right, on the other side of the break, gonna take a quick break here. On the other side of the break, we're gonna keep breaking down this game, talking about what we saw in the game, talking about the offensive side of the ball and Caleb Williams as well with his struggles and why it's okay to say that he had his struggles, guys. People are losing their minds. And we're gonna, of course, keep talking about this defense. All that more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Be right back. Happening Bears Nation, it's your boy Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, where we keep it 100 about everything Chicago Bears. Now, if you're like me, you don't just watch the game, you live it, and that's why you need to check out BetDSI. BetDSI is where it's at if you want to put your money where your mouth is. They've been doing it for over 20 years, giving you the best odds, lightning fast payouts, and a platform that's as solid as the best O-line. Whether you're betting on the Bears to take it all the way or making clutch live bets during the game, BetDSI has you covered. And here is the kicker. Just because you're rolling with the Windy City Breeze, BetDSI is hooking you up. Sign up today with the promo code WCB, and they'll give you a 120% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. That's free money, folks, to make sure that you're winning as you back our boys in the blue and orange. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Head over to betdsi.eu, use the code WCB, and start turning your Bears passion into serious cash. BetDSI, where real Bears fans get it done. Appreciate the sponsors over at BetDSI. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review, man. Y'all know what to do. YouTube is tweaking, basically saying we're not going to show you how many views and how good the video is. We're going to show you likes. So please hit that like button because people don't click on the video if they don't see the likes now. It's a very weird world. Let's jump back into this though, JC, because again, right, the struggles offensively yesterday were aplenty. The Chicago Bears could not move the football at all yesterday. 147 yards of total offense to lead to the biggest comeback of the day. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Will Levis did not look much better than Caleb Williams did.
No, he did not.
And if anything, he looked much worse because of the 2 interceptions, one that ends up going for a touchdown, ones that ends up being the game-sealing interception. I don't know if you saw the images going around Twitter like everybody else had, where he's just got his hands on his head, sitting there like, oh no, I can't believe.
After he threw it to
after he flopped that ball out there, like what the heck was that, bro? Like
I don't know.
Even Bears fans yesterday was like, what was going through your brain when you like flopped that out there? What was that? But offensively, the Chicago Bears yesterday were not very good as a whole.
No.
And not just that. They were downright terrible.
Yeah, it did look good. We don't even have to sugarcoat it.
Caleb Williams was terrible. And I know some people, we got this call yesterday. Yeah, we got a plethora of calls. First call of the day, by the way, on the radio yesterday, on the post game show on ESPN. When do we call Caleb Williams a bust? I was like, dog, after not after the first game, bro. Like, dog, can we get out of here? Like,
man.
After the first game, bust. I'm sick of this dude. I was like, dog, can he live a little bit?
Bears fans got too much drama, man.
But what I will say is this. Even with some of the plays that are missed, he still had a bad day. If he completes that touchdown drive to Keenan Allen, he had a 107-yard, 1 touchdown day.
Yeah, looks a little better.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, right.
But again, and I think that this is very important because we heard this yesterday as well. This is why the team has to be right. This is why everybody losing their minds. Everybody's calling, oh my God, 93 yards. What the heck happened? Well, just like last season, you had a starting center who looks not very good at his job. I don't know how Coleman Shelton ended up face down back up on a Sunday morning on the Lord's Day, going up against Tandre Sweat.
Bro.
I don't know how, right? Like, I mean, listen, I'm blocking this way, and yet I end up facing that way with my back in the air, and it looks like I'm preparing myself for something. That's not a good thing to see on a Sunday. And yet that's how he was out there looking.
He got exposed.
Your offensive line, Nate Davis. Hey, buddy, you suck.
Hey, buddy. What
like
are we
that
paying
was
for?
That was horrible. There's a play that Olin Kreutz tweeted out.
Yeah.
On why Nate Davis might have been benched or sat down. Apparently, this was Matt Eberflus's plan, Cap.
Yeah.
Any plan, when you say my plan was to sit our starting right guard to put in our backup right guard so that they both get reps, that's not how football works.
2 in and 2 out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've never in my life seen a coach go, you know what I really want to do? Just throw off the order of the offensive line real quick.
Yeah.
I really want to put my backup out there. So I'm calling Cap on that right now. But those things matter. That play where Caleb Williams loses 19 yards. Nate Davis coming across. It is a boot. It's not a naked boot. It's just a boot where the offensive line is shifting left. Everybody's supposed to hit the guy to their left. Nate Davis like shoulder taps 91. I don't know who 91 is on the Titans. I give him a little shoulder tap. Says, hey, brother, you know what I mean? He's back there. He's in the back. Make sure you lock up the house when you're done.
Like, good to see you. Come on,
I'll see you later. I'm gonna go out here. Blocks nobody at a minimum. And I said this yesterday on the post game show too. At a minimum, As the worst offensive lineman in the NFL, you're supposed to hit somebody.
Something. Look for something.
Which is why even on that sack, as I remember the Coleman Shelton, he like sees nobody on the delayed blitz and just sees my man over here. He's like, F it. Huh. Like, that's what you're supposed to hit something.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
hit nothing.
That man did a single exercise going right to left.
Bro,
He was
how you hit
doing
nobody the
aerobics.
whole play?
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Those things matter. Offensive line matters. Your wide receiving core, this dominant wide receiving core that we talked about. Rewatching this game, wasn't a lot of people open. And when they were open, guess what? Caleb Williams absolutely missed them.
Yeah.
You had a bad first day offensively. That is okay to say. But let's not just say Caleb Williams had a bad day offensively. He did. But that Chicago Bears offense, Tandre Sweat, he ran for 30 yards of offense on 10 carries. He finished out the game in the fourth quarter with a 20-yard run. So he ran for nine carries, 10 yards the rest of the game. The things that you need to do to make a rookie quarterback's life easier, you did none of them.
Didn't happen. Yeah.
And so that's why the offense looks god awful. But let's not just go, because I get it. Listen, I was a Justin Fields guy. Justin Fields ain't here. Everybody, all the Fields fans that feel like, Justin Fields was unjustly traded, now they're like rising back out of the woodwork, sitting here like,
You see?
We're back, baby. I told you. I knew this was coming. And I thought Jeff Meller said this great yesterday. If you're ready to call Caleb Williams a bust after yesterday's performance, if you're ready to already write this kid off after yesterday's performance, you had written him off already. Yesterday had nothing to do with it.
You were looking for it.
You were looking for any reason to say that this kid sucked.
Yeah.
You were looking for any reason to get him to attack him. And I'm sorry, I can't live like that. I can't live like that.
No.
I can't live in this world where I'm ready to rip apart the quarterback of my team after one game. Hell, I was 2 years into Mitch before I started being like, I don't think this guy's very good at football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heading into year two, there's a video, it's still on the channel today. I was like, why Mitch Trubisky can be white Cam Newton.
Uh-oh.
I was wrong.
Boy. Wow. Wow.
Hey, that's called a miss right there.
He was Josh Allen, huh? Okay. He was Josh Allen.
Hey, listen, there, white Cam Newton. I was like, oh, here it comes. Oh, that's bad. Oh no, he is. He's Cam Patterson. He's.
My goodness gracious.
Over 300 in the chat, by the way.
Oh, Chad, let's go.
300.
Let's do it.
But yeah, offensively, it was bad yesterday. That's okay to say, guys. What'd you see from the offense, JC?
Well, I mean, obviously nothing. But man, if we're going to go in more detail, what we talked about the last time was, does this defensive coordinator for the Titans, is he playing himself, shooting himself in the foot? And clearly he saw something that we did, because one of the things we didn't account for with, the wide receivers obviously creating the most separation and being very good against the press, right? We brought up those numbers. You said Keenan Allen and DJ were 8 and 9 last year. And Rome Odunze was one of the best in college the previous year before we drafted him. What we didn't account for is the fact that this offensive line didn't give Caleb enough time to actually let those guys create separation and make some explosive plays. We didn't see that separation because there was literally no time for Caleb to utilize, in the backfield. With the offensive line being bad in the middle, we're talking about center and right guard mostly, because I think that everybody else pretty much did a decent job. Like you even mentioned the other day, outside of that one play, Braxton Jones did his job well. Tevin Jenkins obviously was a beast.
Jones had a solid day.
Yeah, Darnell Wright. We know what he can bring. He's a steady force at right tackle, right? We don't have to really worry about him too much. He's going to continue to improve. The middle of that line really did Caleb a disservice, in giving him time to scan the field. And then, of course, Caleb himself did himself a disservice, because when he did have time to throw, he was just off. I saw one throw where it was to Keenan, and it just looked like the ball came wobbly out his hands and went down like towards the ground. Like it didn't seem like he had the same kind of pinpoint accuracy. Maybe there was a little bit of nervousness. You know, he said he's not nervous. You probably saw a little bit of jitters. You know,
Yeah.
there had to be a little bit of jitters with some of those passes. But overall, I think the offense needs to improve. One thing I was a little unimpressed by, I read that the utilization of the tight ends. Somebody said that Waldron didn't really utilize Cole Kmet more than he utilized Joe Everett, and that is a little concerning to me because Cole Kmet is supposed to be your top tight end, and he's saying that okay, he's a better move tight end, but you use Joe Everett a little bit more in your play calling, and that's what I'm a little concerned by is Waldron, you know, giving some of the best guys on the team a chance to actually impact the game. That's where I'm a little worried right now.
Well, I mean, listen, they both got one target and one reception. Gerald
Yeah,
Everett was a screen that went nowhere, and Cole Kmet's was a little, 4-yard route on the left side that ended up being nothing. I think the play calling's tough,
yeah.
and I'm willing to give Shane Waldron
Less snaps. That's what I meant. Yep. Thank you, Doug.
Cole Kmet having less snaps. Yeah, I can see that. But again, I'm willing to give Shane Waldron a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt here, because when you see your quarterback is having the day that Caleb Williams was having, I think you're right. The offensive line, to his credit, and here's what I want people to understand. He tried to move the pocket around.
Yeah.
He didn't tell Caleb, just drop back. He tried to run boots. He tried to move the pocket. Tennessee played the boot exceptionally well.
They did.
They played Caleb rolling out right or rolling out left exceptionally well. They were on that from the second it happened. Now, you got to counteract that. But when you're trying to counteract that with a quarterback who's off, he was off. Like when the plays were there, he was missing them.
Yeah, he didn't have it.
He didn't have it. So when you're trying to counteract that with a quarterback who's off, when you're trying to counteract that with an offensive line that has two pieces in the middle that basically look like frickin' frack, when you're trying to counteract that with a running game that is essentially non-existent, and not for lack of trying. I mean, you gave Tandre Sweat 10 carries. What do you end up with in the second half? He went. I could have seen a little bit more, but you end up having 5 carries for Tandre Sweat in the second half. 5 carries for him in the first half. He had 5 carries for 6 yards in the entire first half. He had 5 carries for 24 yards. When you have a day like that, maybe you could have seen a little bit more from Khalil Herbert. I would have liked to see, try and get him involved a little bit more.
Well, I think he took those he took those snaps away from Bayless in the punt return.
You ain't lying. Oh, bro. Oh, we're gonna talk about Bayless. We're gonna talk about Bayless. But when you're trying to get something going offensively and literally nothing is working, sometimes you do just got to say, I can't risk it.
Yeah.
I can't risk drawing something up that's going to get my quarterback killed because I got the well, I can't say that on this on a public platform because I got these two jamokes in the middle that are getting destroyed every time. Tandre Sweat basically was like, "Hey, come here, get out there.
A rookie.
Go over there. I don't want to see you anymore."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you got that going on, you have to call the game based on what's happening in the game. It is not Madden. You can't just go out there and say, well, we got to call plays like this because that's going to get the ball open. The ball coming open wasn't always the problem. The quarterback hitting that play when it's open. And when you try to make those throws or you try to make those passes and your quarterback's having an off day and you have nothing offensively, if you compound that with a offensive turnover, you will be going home with the loss.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I just think that I can deal with what we saw week 1 from Shane Waldron. And y'all know I'm ready to cook an offensive coordinator. I've been cooking Luke Getsy for 3 years.
Jeez.
And the second I heard that people were like, well, Waldron's very similar to Luke Getsy, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
But
give it some time.
I can't cook him off week 1 because the players weren't playing well.
Yeah, give it some time. If
the players aren't playing, if the players are playing well, see, the reason I could Getsy is because Justin Fields would be playing well, the offense would be playing well, we'd be killing somebody offensively, and then he'd go up. That's enough of that. Let's stop that.
Oh yeah. versus Detroit. Yep, we've
So,
seen that. I actually wanted to mention the fact that I got a chance to watch a little bit of the CHGO podcast, the new show with Briggs and Alex Brown.
oh yeah,
And they actually mentioned Tandre Sweat and how crazy impactful he was. I
oh
know
yeah.
that was one of the guys we actually were talking about when we were talking about mock drafts and having a liking to him. Guy out of Texas who just moves fast for his size, is very agile, very good pass rush moves as well. He completely impacted the game yesterday from the inside, and we talking about wanting or needing a three tech like that, with Javon Dexter, who had a very good game. That's the
Oh
kind of
yeah.
impact you can have on a quarterback, right? Even when your quarterback's not even doing well. Imagine if Will Levis didn't turn the ball over. Imagine if Will Levis had a great game. We'd be talking about probably a blowout, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of impact that you want from somebody like that. And one of the things that they even mentioned is, which I don't know if is even true, is are we able to even go out and find anybody to lock up that center position right now? Because as you mentioned many times, centers are not just readily available that are actually good. Teams are not giving up their best players unless, hey, we give up draft capital and say, you know what, let's just get this addressed now so we can keep Caleb protected while he learns, on the fly.
Well, what I think you're going to do is you're going to end up with one of those combinations that we saw in preseason. Ryan Bates slowly getting himself back healthy. Ryan Bates slowly starting to figure things out. They wanted him to be a starting center anyway. I'm not a fan of it, but
Yeah, yeah,
the game plan was when Ryan Bates got here for him to be the starting center. So you're probably going to see Ryan Bates at some point. I doubt it's this week. I don't think that Coleman Shelton loses his job off of one game, although I don't know if y'all like watched it. I've rewatched the game already once. I got home last night, finished the finished the what was it? The Lions game last night where
yeah,
what a game. What a game.
yeah. It was.
Finished the Lions
I heard that
game
was a good game.
and stayed up way too late rewatching the Chicago Bears game. And I mean, I knew Coleman Shelton was a small center. Like he's a small center. He's small for a center. He looked like a child.
He looked like a kid, man.
He looked like a man, a boy among men out there trying to slow down Tandre Sweat coming up the middle. Like I was just like, it doesn't look like there's anything he can do. And that's why I said that. That's why he's available. No, good centers aren't on the market. Do I think you're going to find somebody that's going to replace him? I don't. Your hope is that Ryan Bates is going to be able to be that guy. You would really like to see Coleman Shelton just kind of win this job out, but you're probably going to end up rolling with Ryan Bates at some point this season as the starting center. Can he be healthy enough to get in there and be in there consistently? You don't want to start tinkering with the center spot.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You don't want to start tinkering with the center spot with Caleb Williams, already off to a rough start. So I doubt they make a change this week just for comfort's sake, but I do think at some point you will. And then you'll probably see a guy like Matt Pryor, who they had in there at right guard during the season, get back out there. Because I'm going to be honest with you. The Nate Davis leash is basically
Is it cut?
strangling him right now. The
Goodness
effort we saw last night.
Play to play.
Oh
Yep.
my God. The effort we saw last night on Nate Davis was an absolute joke. And here's my problem with it is too. And of course, we got to talk about the Velas situation. But what is it with the Bears where somebody does a bad job and then they bring them over, take them out the game, pull them out the game, sit them down. Hey, hey, that was terrible. You're terrible. Stop that.
Slap him on the wrist. Yeah.
And then you put them back in. What's the thought? This ain't high school. What's the thought process there of like, hey, that thing that you get paid millions of dollars doing, you just did a horrible job at it? Stop doing that. Stop doing a horrible job. All right, get your butt back in there. Like, this ain't Remember the Titans, dog.
You ain't Petey. Petey.
This ain't Petey. I want you to come play for me next season, Petey. No, I don't. You go out there and you cheer your teammates on. That's what I'm looking for. Tell Nate Davis clap his hands together. Because Coleman Shelton was trying to get something clapped out. He stayed on the ground.
Oh, hey.
Hey, it's a meaty morning.
That's hilarious.
I was concerned. How was he on the ground so often, bro? He was
It was
like,
very
do you know
comfortable.
you play center in the NFL, bro?
Jesus Christ, man. Very comfortable.
And guess what? Here's the thing. Here's why I don't leave yesterday losing my mind. The two pieces that we saw as a problem in preseason.
Yeah.
The two pieces that we saw as a problem in training camp. Guess what, guys? There's still a problem. Nate Davis is a problem. Nate Davis is a bad signing. Chalk it up. That effort yesterday was different. That was Chase Claypool effort. That's what we saw yesterday from Nate Davis.
Yeah. That's
That was
about the
Claypool
level.
bad.
That's about the level it's at. Yep.
That's an L on Ryan Poles. You got to hold that for dang near the whole season.
Oh boy, not the whole season.
We got 16 more games of L to hold. Now he probably won't be out there that much, but
come on now.
Crimson said he out here living by the quits principle.
Yeah.
By the way, did we shout out Breeze Nation? I don't think I did shout out Breeze Nation. My bad, Breeze Nation. Doug Dwyer in this mug. It's Crimson you dig up in here. Eli in the building. Shane O'Mac the Mac in the building. Don Burr in the chat. Don Burr's rolling off a high right now.
Yeah, he's on a high.
Don Burr's rolling off a high right now. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. Watching Monty yesterday run through them, carrying Rams players to the end zone. I was like, yeah, he's still pretty good.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Who else we got? Bears Junkie in this mug. Brandon Green in this mug. Crucial Psalms and Poetry. Now there's a name right there.
Now we talking about trade discussions in the chat. Nate Davis
get the trade discussions going, dog. Yeah, man, let's get it cracking. Kevo Starks in the building. Matty Legend in this mug, man. I Bull in this mug. Jay Crit in the building, man. Jay Crit.
Hey, shout out Jay Crit,
man.
Shout out Jay.
He said, Pat the designer, that's very loud for early mornings. Can we use a bacon sizzling sound? Because you cooking breakfast. We might have to you know what? That's the one complaint about the morning breeze I always get. They be like, bro, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Why the heck you playing this goddamn air horn, bro? We
So you gotta get the little grease Chris sound.
This is the thing. You gotta understand. Like I wanted to do a morning show for blue collar people. Blue collar people been up for 3 hours already. So it ain't early for us no more.
You're in the middle of work. Yeah.
You know what I mean? This ain't an early show. I'm already 2 hours into a shift right now.
Yeah. Shoot, if I was still at the gas company, I'd be listening.
We might have to come up with a softer sound for the morning show, man. We might have to come up with a softer sound for the morning show.
Easy on the ears for the breeze.
Hey, over 300 in the chat.
Oh, now that's lovely. That's lovely. Is that what you want?
That's lovely. That's a little soft. Yeah, I mean, little.
That does sound like does sound like one of those when you're waking up out of bed, stretch your arms. Yeah, that might work. That might work.
Is that what that is? You gotta, over 300 in the chat.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, man. Listen, and here's one thing we got to point out as well.
We got to talk about Valus.
Oh boy, I'll tell you right now,
bro. By the way, bro, epic rant. I looked at that like 30 times yesterday when you got the camera and said, "Got him."
Bro, hey, dog. That Valus rant yesterday. Why am I getting phone calls at 7:14 in the morning?
Somebody's probably asking you about why Caleb is a bust already.
Somebody is blowing me up, bro. Like somebody said, no, not the chimes, not the chimes. Listen, Vas Jones is Ryan Poles' worst GMing to date.
Mm-hmm.
It's unacceptable. It's inexcusable. It makes absolutely no sense.
Even more so than Claypool.
And once again, no, this is worse than Claypool.
Yeah, no,
Claypool,
I agree.
you saw it, you were like, this ain't it. You tried it another season, and you were like, you know what? We're just gonna move on from this. Claypool, you a little cutthroat. Claypool, you okay?
Yeah, that's true.
But no, with Valus, there is this undying love there's this I have to fall on the sword for this guy
Yep.
mentality that makes absolutely no sense to me. He's not a good football player. At this point, and this is my problem with people who are still defending Valus, because they're out there. Oh, I got the phone calls yesterday on ESPN.
Uh-oh.
Here's my problem with where you're at with Vas Jones right now. He muffs a punt or a kickoff, fumbles at 20 yards. If they score, they don't score because Ryan Poles, you built up a phenomenal defense. I'm going to give you in the business what they call a compliment sandwich. You built up a phenomenal defense, but you've got one piece on your team that absolutely can cost you football games.
Mm-hmm.
And you refuse to remove him from your team. But at least your head coach, who I think did a phenomenal job yesterday calling a defense, has the wherewithal to make the right defensive calls down in that end, hold them to a field goal, like that compliment sandwich there, hold them to a field goal. It only becomes a 3-point struggle. But in my mind, I'm literally going, we could have been down 21-0 going into the half. We could have been down 21-0 going into the second half because Vas Jones doing the only thing that they really need him to do. They changed the rule that should make this a layup for you.
Yep. Now you're missing
Oh, dang it. I dropped it again. And then Matt Eberflus, on the side, I get it. You're in a bad spot. You don't know what to say there. Matt Eberflus in the post-game show, he goes, I was proud of Valus. Proud of Valus for what? His 11 yards on
the
2 carries?
resiliency.
Him pacing on the sideline? Like, no. Not proud of Valus. Valus muffed a punt that almost cost us a game.
Yeah, you could have kept that excuse.
Or a kickoff. And here's the thing at the end of the day. You then take him off of kickoff. So now he's just a position player. He's not a good wide receiver because he can't catch. And as far as running backs go, what do we got? 4 guys actively healthy on the roster that are all better than him at running back?
Travis Homer's better than this guy.
There's 2 guys that are banged up right now who are still better than him at running back?
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about now him as just a position player, he's barely on the team for that. And I get it. He's 6 feet tall. He's fast. If you put the ball in his hands, he can do special things. I've never seen so many excuses made for one player. And at this point, as a position player, you're basically keeping the 5th best player at any position you put him at on the team, minus kick return, where I do think he can be a solid kick returner, but he can't catch the football.
Yeah.
This is Ryan Poles' biggest blunder. And it is 100% on Ryan Poles. And if you put him back out there and he costs you a game, Ryan Poles should absolutely be looked at and say, you have a blind spot.
Yeah.
You need to address this blind spot.
Poles is definitely should be held accountable for this. As much as we praise him and we hold him to a high regard because of the many good things he has done for this team. We're not denying any of that, right? But there's times where you get a miss every now and then. There's a swing and a miss. There was a swing and a miss with Chase, and he owned that, and he let it go quickly. But for whatever reason, and he didn't draft Chase, so we know that that's probably the biggest difference. You know, one of the things that we saw coming out of
traded a 2nd-round pick for him. That's an investment in a guy.
That is a huge investment.
It's a huge investment in a guy. A 2nd round, a dude you traded a pick that's higher than the dude you drafted.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were like, wait, we don't like this guy. We're good.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me, can you hear me? I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Your audio cut out for a
Yeah, I was
second.
about to say, I just saw something that stayed connected. Okay. So one of the things that we learned from the Hard Knocks episode is that Brian Poles is a GM that really, really cares about his players, right? We saw that with Adrian Colbert. We saw that with a few people that he brought in, and obviously explaining that this is a hard decision to make when he has to cut players and he has to let them go. We clearly see that this is an issue, and like you said, there are rose-colored glasses when it comes to Vas Jones. I don't know. We joke all the time. Maybe he's got pictures on everybody in that front office. He's got pictures on the league. I don't know what he has, but there has to be something because my goodness, not only did you not catch the ball, you kicked it to the other team to say, "Here you go. Here's a
Yeah,
gift." So you can go up 14-0 basically almost.
yeah.
Like that my thing is, yes, okay, the talent sometimes gives you a chance after a chance after a chance. We've seen that with many players. To a degree we saw that with Michael Vick when he came back in the league. You give people chances when they're talented enough. So we know that he looks like he's talented. He has certain skill sets, agility, speed, all those things. He has good size for him. So yeah, you want to bring him in at running back, but he's not going to be impactful to the team anymore. He's just not a good football player. You need to cut your ties and cut your losses now. I mean, that's simply put.
And here's my problem with it, right? After he muffs a kick, now all of a sudden we got to give him a couple carries at running back and a screen pass.
Make him feel
Like now
good.
we got to prove he's a position player.
Gotta make
Now
him
we got
feel
to
good.
prove that this guy is actually useful on the team.
Yeah.
And I listen, the screen passes. Have y'all rewatched that play yet, or going back and look? Like it's like I've never seen somebody try to catch a screen like that. Like he was drafted as a wide receiver. Use your hands. He was like, oh god, oh I got the ball. Hold on, oh here we go. Now I'm gonna run. Got nowhere.
Yeah.
Like he's. I don't know what to say at this point. At this point, I'm almost done blaming. Cut him. Still, it's still cut him. It's still cut him. He's a
It's
bad
still
football player.
absolutely.
You remove bad football players from your team. But at the end of the day, you're basically holding on to Vas Jones right now for the hope that he breaks one play, maybe two a year. For the hope that he breaks maybe two touchdowns.
Oh boy. Yeah.
At the running back position, or from a screen pass, or from an end around. I've never seen a player and I swear, for all of the craziness that went on around Justin Fields last year, I would think that Bears fans would absolutely be sitting there looking at this guy like, wow, nope, we're all 100% out on him. There are people still trying to defend this.
Yeah.
I even saw people yesterday, they were like, well, people, they were offering a draft pick for him, so why wouldn't you just trade him? Why would I trade him now? He just muffed another kickoff. What team is going to be like, you know what I want? A dude that muffs. Can you
Give
say
me a
that?
muffer.
Is that crazy? You know what I'm looking for? A muffer.
Jesus.
I don't know, man. Like, to me, you're trying to keep on the fifth best running back on this team. You're trying to keep on the fifth best wide receiver on this team. You're trying to keep on maybe the third best kick returner on this team at this point. Like, for what? The hope that he's going to have a couple of plays and the risk that he's going to have, a couple of fumbles. Even I'm terrified of him with everything he does.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's literally now you're in the worst situation with him, because if he fumbles at the running back position or he catches a screen and gets the ball punched out, now it's just like, well, you kept this dude for absolutely no reason. Like, he has no spot on the field. At least now another team is willing to utilize him. Y'all about to kill this kid's career. Well, I guess he's going to kill it, but still. That was yesterday was an interesting day. We went through the full range of emotions, JC. We had the first half of
My
just like,
goodness.
oh God,
First
here
half
we
was
go
bad.
again. And then like the second half, like, wait a minute now, am I tingly? Think I'm tingly.
Wait.
But we got to see more. We got to see more from this Bears team. We got to see more from this Bears offense. We have to see more from Caleb Williams. You cannot go out there and play like that.
Yeah. Improve.
You
Got to improve quickly.
just can't. But I'll say this. I do think that this team is dangerous because you beat a football team with a solid defense, a really solid defense.
Absolutely.
At your worst offensively. That doesn't happen. Teams that can pick up the other side of the ball, and you can't do it every week, but teams that can pick up the other side of the ball usually have a tendency of being very, very dangerous football teams. And you got a team that can pick up the other side of the ball. And I told J-Mac this yesterday. There's something special about a football team that's player-led in the locker room. And when Flus is sitting there evaluating the team, he's talking to him, blah, 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 and he goes, KB, break it down. And KB comes through with that impassionate speech at the end of it, talking about, you see, it's all about how you bounce back, and we bounced back. Look how we bounced back. Blah, blah, blah. And he's hyping there. I'm like, oh, we got a player-led team.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't had a player-led team since Olin Kreutz was in that locker room. That's been a long time, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Olin, how many snaps you got left in you? We may need you.
Lord have mercy, come back.
Somewhere this morning, Coleman Shelton is perked up.
Now Olin did lost a few pounds, but I'll take
did
Olin
lost some weight. I ain't gonna lie. I get to see.
I'll take Olin.
You know what the funniest thing in the world is? If you ever get a chance to maybe we just roll to one of J-Mac's games. Because Olin Kreutz is Jason McKee's offensive line coach for Carmel.
Yeah.
Like, think about your memory of Olin.
Oh yeah.
And then throw that out the window. Because like J-Mac is the one on the sidelines losing his mind, cussing everybody out when they struggling. And Olin's like, see what we want to do. We want to bring this in.
It's the good cop, bad cop routine.
Together. We want to love each other. We want to really, and like just watching it, I'm just sitting there going,
he's meditating now, man. He's in Zen mode, bro.
Who's that?
Who's this guy?
Who's that guy? Is that the dude that like wanted to rip off people's heads?
Yeah.
That guy? I remember him like physically assaulting people violently.
He's removed from the game so long. He didn't found his chi. He didn't found his center.
Bro, he do seem like he didn't found his chi, bro. It might be a chi thing. It might be a chi thing, bro. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. We'll be back today breaking down this game even more in depth. And, of course, breaking down more comments from Matt Eberflus. He will talk today up at the podium. So breaking down and hopefully getting an update on Keenan Allen. I don't know if this was kind of like very under talked about, but Keenan Allen, I don't know if it was the heel. I think it was the heel that was bothering him again, but like he came up gimpy in that third quarter. We never saw him.
A little limp, yeah.
So hopefully we get an update on Keenan Allen. Hopefully we see some improvement on that. Hopefully we see some improvement on this offense as a whole. Best play of the day is Caleb Williams throwing that thing off of old boy's face mask. Bounces straight in the air. Rome Odunze catches it. He tries to run, fumble. Tevin Jenkins, boom, on the ball. Best offensive player today. Best offensive player today. We'll be breaking this game down more in depth. Of course, we'll be breaking it down all week. We'll also have some special content dropping on the Patreon side. If you're not on the Patreon, tap in with us, because what we're going to do, all right, everybody listen in. We're going to take our full live call, line it up with the game, and that will be available over on the Patreon side. So you can rewatch the game with our commentary attached to it. We'll also have a shorter version of it posted on the channel today as well. So stay tapped in with us on that. As always, man, for Mr. Meaty, Jordan JC himself, it's an early meaty morning. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace. I didn't have the music ready. Vas Jones.
Jeez.
I don't know who came up with that. Vas Jones.
That's epic.